resident to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Fitch-Rona EMS Commission meeting for January 15th, 2026. I'd like to call the meeting to order and start with a roll call. So Patrick?
Sure, so Michelle isn't here this evening, so I'll take the roll call for her. So James Roberts.
Here.
Jake Lepper.
Here.
See him up on the screen. We do have a new appointee from the city of Fitchburg as of Tuesday, Daniel Schultz. I have made contact with him. He's traveling for work today. He was unable to be here. So I'll call him because he is actually officially in the commission as of Tuesday, but he is excused. And we do, if you remember from our last meeting, we actually do have a new makeup for the commission. So there's actually a vacant seat for the city of Fitchburg. But then for the city of Verona, we have Patrick Lytle.
Here.
Stephen Fusco.
Here.
And Dave Lonsdorf.
Not for the city.
Town of Verona. Moved on to the representative for the town of Verona.
Okay, here.
So we do have a quorum.
All right, thank you. And I forgot to introduce myself. I'm the acting chairman for today's meeting, at least, David Lonsdorf from the town of Verona. Any public comment?
No public
I don't see
comment,
anybody here for it, so.
but we do have a presentation.
All right, next is a presentation dramatically titled Cardiac Arrest Saves with the City of Madison, paramedic Jeremy Owen.
Sure, so I'll do just a quick introduction and then invite our guests up. So within the last couple of years, we've a great partnership we've had with the City of Madison to help support some of the athletic events to, just the increasing demand. A lot of our paramedics have partnered with them, and so then this last fall, one of our paramedics, Jeremy Owen, was involved as part of a team with not one, but actually two cardiac arrests at one of the UW football games. Both of them ended up being survivors. So this evening we actually have Chief Chris Hamas from the City of Madison and our paramedic Jeremy Owen to present with some challenge coins, and I'll let them come on up and you can say a few words and do the presentation.
We have strong instructions to not go past that. Thanks, Chief Anderson. Members of the commission, thanks for having us. Again, my name is Chris Hamas. I'm the Assistant Fire Chief of Madison Fire Department. I oversee the medical operations for the department. And as Chief Anderson alluded to, we go to great efforts to try to provide adequate coverage to some of these events that are staffed in the city of Madison, some of which are very high populated. Any given Saturday with a home Badger football game, it's one of the biggest cities in the state of Wisconsin, and providing adequate coverage for any event that should occur at those facilities is on us. And as such, with the number of increasing events that have occurred within the city of Madison over the years, we've relied heavily upon our partners, our affiliates, such as Fitch-Rona, to help us assist these events. And on October 18th, Jeremy is one of those crews working in Camp Randall, and it's rare that we have cardiac arrest events that occur in the city of Madison, at these events, but they do happen. It's very rare that we have two cardiac arrests occur during one event. I'm not sure if it was because we were playing Ohio State, if that was part of it, because we got cleaned up pretty good, but it happened. And for those that are in this industry that know, when you go into cardiac arrest, the odds are stacked against you. It really is, the odds are not in your favor. So to get two individuals that actually survived both of these cardiac arrest events is truly a testament to the quick actions that our personnel, in conjunction with the affiliate personnel, provided professional, top-notch care to these individuals. And what we gauge as a save is just not getting the heart going. It's getting the brain going so someone is 100% neurologically intact, walking, talking, going back to their friends and family and loved ones. And on this day, we had a 71-year-old and a 77-year-old male patient that were both saved, in part because of the actions that Jeremy assisted in providing the care to. So on behalf of the Madison Fire Department, we've got some challenge coins that we issued to personnel that are involved in saves. They're challenge coins for cardiac arrest saves. Again, Jeremy, thank you for helping us on this day. I'm going to take a slide over here and grab these. So again, thank you for everything you did, and we welcome you to come work any other game.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
you very much. You want to say anything? Nope. Thank you all for having us. Appreciate the collaboration.
Thank you, and
Thanks, Chief
congratulations,
Hamas.
Jeremy. Good job.
Yeah. Greg will grab a picture for you there, and so just a huge shout out. That is phenomenal collaboration, as well as great recognition of our crew. And I will put out there that Chief Hamas did start his EMS career at Fitch-Rona EMS. So I just want to put that out there, right? I know where his heart lies. And him and I actually ran together as EMT basics way back in the late 90s, but we won't talk about how that is, right?
It sounds like Fitch-Rona had a better day than UW did. Yeah, thank you. All right, review and approval of meeting minutes from last meeting on December 18th, 2025.
I'll move the approval.
Who's that? Klepper? All right.
I'll
All right,
second.
Jake. And Robert's second. Any other comments on them or corrections? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, minutes passed. Next is review and approval of accounts payable checks that have been authorized by Chief Anderson. That's another one of our attachments. Oh, I missed the chief's report. Sorry, chief's report.
Thank you. So, yeah, emailed this out. We'll get this one posted up on the website and emailed out as well. This is kind of I don't want to say the fun one for the year, but this is the fun one in January. And it's always kind of the weird, it's the January Chiefs report, but as with everything, it's actually from the end of the month before, December. So this is actually the year-end report for 2025. So that number that everybody's always interested in, we ended our year at 5434 for calls. So 5.5% over where we were in 2024. That's historically, our number is anywhere between, we plan for 3%. Over the last 47 years, we are right around that 5% as far as the increase goes. So that's pretty steady. Another thing I appreciate that is we look at the first 3 months of 2025, we were on track for about a 10 to 15% increase for the year. So things kind of calmed down a little bit and leveled off. Though I will say January, right, already of 2026, with the influenza kind of outbreak here has been off and running, just like every other year. Other things to point out is the end of the year report. We did end up with 65% of our calls occurring in the city of Fitchburg. I think that was 1% higher than last year, otherwise pretty normal there. Other things to note, right, it was 45 times in 2024 where we were out of ambulances, and the majority of the time that's the city of Madison that has to come in. In 2025, that was 55 times. So as our numbers continue to climb up, so does everybody else, as we required on some external partners to help us out. Time of the week, day of the week, those things are fairly common there. Just in December alone, right, bumped up a little bit higher in the city of Fitchburg for call volume. Huge number of falls, as I bring up every month. That was our highest number of, our highest reason for calls in December. Sorry, I'm moving too quick there. You'll see, I'll try to get down there. It's not cooperating with me here. Our aging report, it's getting cut off. I apologize. You saw the report. I met again with, I meet monthly with our billing company. They're back to very specifically going to be scrubbing anything over 180 days and making sure that they're working on those calls very specifically for us. As far as our cash on hand, we ended up with the year very similar to where we were the previous year. So we're actually doing pretty good as far as financials go. You'll see a pretty big increase in our FAP funding. We actually did get our, if you're unaware, the state fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th. So this is actually our state fiscal year 2026 FAP funds. We got $165,000 in there. So that's why you see that savings account number so big. That's why you see that FAP funds so big, because we just got that deposit in there. So between myself and the deputy chiefs and staff, again, FAP funding is restricted on what we can spend that on. So kind of be looking at some of the needs of the district here in the next year to see if there's anything we can invest that in, or just kind of hang on to that for any emergencies that come up in the future. HRAs. A little bit of a previous year, you'll see big changes in per month, per year. As I mentioned back in December, Michelle and I met with the WISC funds. That's our post-retirement healthcare and unassigned fund balance. They moved some funds around to do a little bit more long-term investment in those funds with higher yields. So that's why you just kind of see the numbers change. The overall numbers is the same. As far as January milestones, Devin, our deputy chief, was unable to attend with us tonight from a family commitment. But in about 2 weeks from now, he'll hit his first year with us. I think we're going to keep him for at least one more. And then, because you see my numbers, the other one that's up there, 25 years for me in January. So we need to keep him on board here to catch up to 25 so that I can get a. Yeah. So I can get out. So two big years for both of us. A couple of shout outs there is one of them is we did get a patient who called and was an issue at the Fitchburg Senior Center. Amy and Nicole, our paramedics, showed up. So that patient actually reached out and said some phenomenal care for those two. And then towards the end of the year, similar like I did a shout out last month, just lots of challenges with staffing in the holidays and people gone. I was actually gone for the last 2 weeks of December as well. So personally thanking Chief Anders and Chief Dostalek for covering a lot of stuff that I would normally do over those 2 weeks, and then making sure it was okay when I got back. So I'll do that shout out to them.
All right.
Questions for me?
I just had a quick question on like the number of falls. Do you have a rough estimate of how many of those come from assisted living facilities or nursing homes?
I would be guessing. I can find out for you.
Okay.
Anecdotally, I will tell you most of them,
The vast majority,
the
yeah?
vast
Okay.
majority of them, but I will find out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
For the mutual aid, curious if we have any kind of guess what staffing a peak time ambulance going forward might help with that. Obviously, it'll reset things and then they'll start creeping up again, I would
Yeah.
assume, but
I'm hoping, well, my hope is to reduce it by 2/7, right? If that's the funny part of it, 2 days a week. A good question, because today was actually at the end of our first or second, I would like to say second full week, but so last week, Tuesday was our first full day of our peak time truck. So last week, Monday, already the city was in the district 2 times on Monday, right? So I picked the wrong day. However, Tuesday was our first day with the peak time truck. We didn't have any 4 calls at the same time, but we did actually have a couple of calls in Verona at the same time, as well as actually, as I've been sharing with you, we have that ambulance in Verona, but that actually benefits the west side of Fitchburg as well. And we did actually have one of those calls where the Verona crew was actually sent to the west side of Fitchburg, which is closer to come from Verona than the very far east side of Fitchburg. So they actually kind of earned their keep on Tuesday of last week. And then Thursday, I think they did 2 calls out of the Verona station total. So right, the nature of emergency services, already had some a sick call and a staffing issue, and actually had to not put that in truck a Tuesday of this week. It was our first day of taking it not in service, and then that crew was there today, and then they just kind of split the calls. So nothing earth-shattering here. I would anticipate that call, that 55 to be reduced based even just with the 2 days a week. I don't know exactly what that number would be.
sure.
Yeah.
Appreciate the,
Anything less than 55, I think, is going to count as a win, especially as the city of Madison is looking at staffing an additional ambulance. I don't know that they got one this year, but right, they're looking at it as well, and that will help, right? Like all of us, that'll help alleviate some of their demand.
thank you.
Yeah, 1/7 would be 8 and 2/7 would be 16.
All right,
So
that's the number we're shooting for.
16 calls.
16 less than this year.
You got to pick the right days.
Yes, just throwing darts at a board.
I would personally like to thank and congratulate Chief Anderson on his 25 years of service, too. So,
thank you.
Maybe a round of applause or something. For whoever's watching us on TV. All right, let's see. Now we'll move on to the accounts payable checks, if that's all right.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Find them.
I'll
All right.
second.
Second. Any questions or comments on the checks? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's approved. Next is the Johnson Block contract, I guess, right?
Yeah.
For audit services for next
yeah,
year.
officially what I think I wrote it on there. It's a commitment for an understanding of services and a request for a financial audit. So Johnson Block has done our audit either historically, if you recall, over the course of 3 years, 2 of those years have been a financial review, and the 3rd year gets an audit. As part of the new intergovernmental agreement, that was raised to a financial audit every year. Ask an accountant what that truly means. I only know right off the kind of cursory look of what the difference between an audit and account is. It's a little bit deeper. They match a little bit more stuff up. But they've done it every year for us. Part of that process is actually essentially I don't want to call it a retainer. It doesn't cost anything, but it's a letter that says that this is what they are going to do for us. It truly is a templated letter that just commits us to using their services for audit. We just need to sign it.
Sure.
I mean, we don't have to sign it, but
Or approve it?
yeah, I guess
it's
the
just-
motion would be to retain Johnson Block for a financial audit of the 2023 year based on what the anticipated cost is. So there is an increased cost to the audit. I don't know if you would consider that substantial or not. Usually the traditional review historically has been about 10 to 12, and a full audit is about 14 to 16.
Okay.
All right. Let's see, discussion and possible action on policy update paternity leave.
So this was shared with you, as I think as we recall from last month when we reviewed with the collective bargaining agreement. So new to our collective bargaining agreement is paternity leave. And we had a good discussion on it last month. As I referenced last month, right, part of the language in the collective bargaining agreement is allowing or granting paternity leave to be authorized and used in accordance with the developed policy. We didn't have a policy. So this is the follow-up to a benefit that we now offer. This, as I mentioned, as I shared this with you to review in part of the email, this is the city of Fitchburg's parental leave policy, just kind of tweaked to save, search and find for Fitch-Rona. Other part of it is tweaking, our short of myself and Devin and Jeff. We're the only ones that work an 8-hour day, 5 days a week. Everybody else works the 24-hour shifts. So a little bit of tweaking in there as well. I mean, I can hit the highlights for you. This has been shared with the union, or at least with the union steward. I don't know how far beyond that it's got. So it's entirely possible we will get some feedback on this that I will bring back to you, reminding you policy development, policy changes, brand new policy presented to the commission for approval or to take back. The union does have a 21-day input process, so providing this passes tonight, I will share it with the union as a whole. Any comments will come back to this organization or the commission for potential review and adoption. If I don't get anything back in 21 days, it becomes an effective policy. But again, it's 4 different pages. I don't know that I need to dig deep into it. My biggest advice, I think, would be that this is the city of Fitchburg's policy developed by their HR department. So it's been vetted. This is not a new policy to them. The only change for the city of Fitchburg was they went from the 2 weeks to 3 weeks in 2026. This did go, again, I've sent it out to both Devin and Jeff. Only things we really caught in there was bad math. So we fixed the numbers, fixed the date. There was some language in there about pay, because largely, right, ours, I think it said pay will be done at like a standard rates, while our employees, right, get the 48 hours of straight time and 8 hours of overtime, and that's their scheduled week. So we did fix some of the language in there that it wouldn't be 48 hours of straight pay. It would truly be an equivalent of what they'd be making. Beyond that, I don't know if anybody, I guess I would entertain any questions or discussion or a motion.
So I just want to clarify, does this commission have the authority to amend this at all, or to approve it contingent on an amendment?
Like, what are you looking for?
Okay, so all right, so I will be more specific. There is a provision in here that states an employee must return to work at least 6 months following use of paid parental leave, or the value of paid parental leave used must be repaid to the district. I think clawback provisions like this have no place in a parental leave policy. Parental leave policy is in place as a benefit to families. I think that the risk of abuse is very low, and there are myriad of reasons that a life event like the birth of the child could create instability that would require, a parent not to be able to return to work. And I understand that there's, a provision in here that you, as the chief, could waive this based on your discretion. I just don't think it's necessary, and I would never want the district to be put in a position where it would have to enforce this, because the optics are just so bad of the district going after a new parent. I think it's unnecessary. For something like a sabbatical, I would understand, but not for a parental leave policy.
So based on that context, my suggestion would be for further discussion amongst the commission, if there is general consensus amongst the commission to to remove that from this, you could vote to adopt the policy with that change. Again, I don't think the collective bargaining unit is going to fight you on that one. But it continues to go back. So this body could approve the policy with that change, or you could kick it back to myself and have further discussion and bring the policy back if you feel it warrants more review. I guess that's where I would go with this.
So we could discuss that more. Would anyone else like to see that section? It's on page 3, about 2/3 of the way down. I personally didn't like that either, for the same reasons, essentially. I don't know how much money is involved, but it just doesn't seem worth it to claw back, as you say, Steve, the money.
Yeah, just a little context. My mom is a neonatal intensive care unit nurse. She has been for 40 years. The number of times that, parents have had to exhaust all of their parental leave, all of their PTO, all of their FMLA, and they can't return to work. It happens all the time. And this is a really demanding job. This isn't a desk job. There are just so many situations where I just wouldn't want to see this policy enforced, even if you do have the, authority to waive it on a case-by-case basis. I just don't think we need it.
Any, Patrick, James, or Jake, any
I would
comments?
agree with approving the policy with that removed, that provision removed.
All right. I had actually a couple other comments, maybe not a surprise. As I understand this, a young woman who's a paramedic, of which we have several now on the force, if she were to have a baby and decide that she didn't want to take an extra 9 weeks off that's entitled by FMLA, and she wanted to go right back to work 3 weeks after having a baby, she would be allowed to under this policy. Would you allow her to do that, or?
So there's kind of the catch-all in here. They can, I think it's back on page 2 there, they can come back to work. They have a 12-month period to utilize this.
Yeah.
And I guess I will bring up the example of the last paramedic we had, who actually ultimately left after 6 months because of some childcare issues, the exact case Stephen brought up. When she came back, she actually did come back for just 12-hour days for almost, it was a month and a half-ish. So this does allow them to does not require them to come back for full shifts.
Full-time or something.
It does allow, there's always the catch-all in there, right, that it's got to be done in review, to me to not present necessarily an undue burden, I guess, right, placing myself in a position of, right, I might come back next week, Tuesday, for 12 hours and then not come back the following Thursday, but I'll come back the Wednesday after that. Like, some stuff like that can be a challenge, an operational challenge in there.
Yeah.
But it says they can come back essentially intermittently. They have 12 months, I believe is what this says. They have 12 months to use this. So if it's entirely possible, I want to just come back and I'm going to have my baby on Friday and I'll be back to work on Monday and work for a couple weeks and then use this again because maybe my spouse or my partner can do childcare for 3 weeks and then it's my turn to do this for 3 weeks. This policy does allow that. I think that's what you're asking.
Well, I guess I wonder, I tend to sort of, I was a family physician, like I said last time, and I've seen this from both the mother side and the child side, that this is a very important part of building a family. Our child birth rate is going down. We need more kids. We want to encourage people to have kids if at all possible. But on the other side, the flip side of this, if someone who's just had a baby or maybe even a C-section is trying to come back 3-4 weeks after that, I'm not sure the district even wants them back. I question whether they can really do the work because this is pretty heavy physical work.
So this does not take away from the current maternity leave, which very much outlines what you're asking.
Yeah.
We have a separate maternity leave that provides direction and guidance and policy based on when, right? It's negotiating
when we allow them back or
when
something,
your physician and you deem you can't do this job anymore.
Yeah.
I can suggest that, but I can't tell somebody they can't work, right? So that actually absolutely outlines how long they can stay working prior to maternity leave, and then when it outlines the criteria they have to meet in order to come back. Like there actually has to be consensus between a parent, a physician, myself, right? There's the kind of those couple people who all say it. We believe it is safe for you. So there is a different.
That's a separate policy.
That is the
that covers all
maternity
that.
leave
Okay.
policy. Yep.
All
So
right.
that provides that guidance when they leave and when and how they can come back.
Okay, this is more about, you, in the agenda, we called it a paternity leave. This is called parental leave.
Yeah,
It's more about the guy, though, I guess, the non,
This could be a part. Yes, this could be a partner. However that works.
Okay.
Yeah. So this actually, I mean, the benefit is, it allows a partner to take
Yeah, which
leave
is-
as
which is
well,
great,
in
yeah.
addition to whatever birthing parent
Okay.
is involved. I don't think that's a real word, but
okay, any other, and I'll withdraw the concerns stuff. Any other comments? I guess if we're going to adopt this, do you want to make a motion to adopt this with that one section stricken? And stuff?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the parental leave policy contingent on the removal of the clawback provision, for lack of a better term.
And I just want to be very specific. I found it was on page 3, right? It's an employee must return to work for at least 6 months following use of paid parental leave, or the value of paid parental leave used must be repaid to the district. This requirement may be waived by the chief or their designee as determined on a case-by-case basis and does not apply in the event of an involuntary termination or layoff.
Yes.
Okay.
The seventh bullet point.
I'll second that.
All right, so moved and seconded. Any further discussion? So where the motion is to approve the entire policy minus that one section.
I guess,
Yeah, Patrick.
I do agree completely with the comments you all have made. I just want to caution us that, the attempt was made to level the playing field between kind of the best benefits offered by the city of Fitchburg and the city of Verona. I would certainly go along with this change. It seems like since the discretion was already there, do you know, Chief Anderson, if that similar discretion is applied for supervisors in other departments at the city of Fitchburg? If you want to give me a moment, actually, I don't have access to the original policy. This was word for word from that policy, so it may have said city administrator or department head as opposed to chief, because all I did was change things that said supervisor or administrator. It probably said city administrator, probably what it said. So I don't know how high the original policy went. But we're pretty confident there was a process where that requirement could be waived by some level of
Absolutely.
administration.
Yeah, I just
City
changed
of Fitchburg.
whoever that was to chief.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea how this is implemented in practice at the city of Fitchburg, but I would hope that in spirit that's happening. And as pointed out, this is not a desk job we're asking these people to come back to. So just wanted to make the comment, and I plan to vote in favor of the policy as amended tonight.
All right, any other comments? So all in favor of the motion as stated to approve this policy minus the one bullet point, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. All right, discussion and possible action on memorandum of understanding with Local 311, the peak time truck staffing guidelines.
Sure. So this was sent out to you as well. It's essentially what it is, and we've talked about this right over the course of the 8 months as we've been working on the peak time staffing truck. in a nutshell, right, the current, and it's truly the current, we didn't change anything with the current collective bargaining agreement. It lists, section 3.04 of the current bargaining agreement. One of the things addressed here is that the current collective bargaining agreement outlines shift work. The peak time truck, it really is, it's truly, because we've scheduled it 7 a to 7 p on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that is regularly scheduled shift work. And there's actually a language in the collective bargaining agreement that addresses regularly scheduled shift work. And so this is it kind of dances around that language. So this MOU, and we worked on this, if you looked at the original date, we've been working on this since September of last year. It just it was kind of got swayed during the regular collective bargaining agreement process. But what it is it essentially sets some guidelines, protects both the district and the collective bargaining unit kind of together as a plan for how we're going to staff this kind of equitable. The proposal is what we're doing, right? It's 2 days a week, 12-hour shifts, 7 a to 7 p, which is regularly scheduled work, right? The day of the week is subject to change. The location of that ambulance is subject to change. At this point, we're going to continue to refer to them as limited term employees. This is for up to 1 year, right, as we continue to kind of see how this process plays out. We're not going to call them part-time employees. Part-time employees are actually addressed in the collective bargaining agreement, right, unless otherwise mutually agreed upon in a separate memorandum. Currently, I only have 2 LTEs who are working on those committed days. I have one who works on Tuesdays, one who works on Thursdays, and then their partners we are still bringing in from our regular LTE pool. At this point, I still don't have anybody who is working the Tuesday, Thursday shift, right? So it's still only a guaranteed 12 hours a week. Big picture stuff, if I ultimately end up with somebody who can pick up both the Tuesday, Thursday, and rolls into their guaranteed 24 hours a week, then we kind of need to start pursuing the part-time employee option. But as of this moment in time, right, this doesn't address that. So again, defines with the exception of state retirement, these employees shall not accrue benefits. They shall not be, full-time staff will not be filling that peak time truck. The full-time staff will not be mandated to fill that peak time truck, right? This was designed and budgeted for our LTE staff to be filling that truck. And then making it just aware that full-time staff might be moved between stations or ambulances to accommodate staffing with eligible crews. So again, what this does is it provides some guidelines for us as management. It provides some guidelines for staff as what the expectation of this truck is. And because of it kind of deals with some scheduling that's addressed in the collective bargaining agreement, best option was just to put an MOU together to provide that guidance to both of us. So I'd be just looking for if anybody has any questions or just approval for this MOU.
I'm just curious, what happens after the year? So they're referred to limited time employees for a period of up to a year. After a year, do they become part-time employees? Do you fire them and hire new ones? What becomes of them after that?
We don't know.
Oh, so we'll figure it out when we get there?
We're winging it.
Yeah, the plan was, the goal, the request, and I can acknowledge it and I can appreciate it, and that's why I put it in there. The request for the union is let's try this for a year and see what happens. Admittedly, the concern is why anyone would, right, it's a stretch, right? But if I can fill 3 ambulances 24 hours a day with part-timers, then why do I have any full-timers, right? What manager in the world wants to manage 60 part-timers as opposed to 21 full-timers, right? So, but acknowledging it as a genuine concern of protecting jobs. So that is the limitation in there of we agreed upon it myself, this body, the collective bargaining that says, we're going to let you do this for a year and then let's revisit it. This language could repeat after a year. We could change some names. Maybe we'll get the part-time employees and it rolls into a part-time position. And then we, put it back to the LT position for 2027 with 2 new days. So that's what it is. It just puts a kind of some bumpers on it.
Isn't the plan to gradually phase in a 4th truck? And do you have a certain criteria for when that happens? Or?
if you'll give me money to hire 5 new people next year, I will hire 4 new full-timers
How
and
much
put
do
that,
you need?
exactly, roughly $1.5 million. That is ultimately the
Yeah.
plan. This, acknowledging, again, thanks to the collective bargaining unit and this entity in our municipalities, this was a very cost-effective way of expanding coverage.
Gradually.
Yeah, well, we can take the baby steps and, big picture over the next, we had two days this year, 2 to 3 days next year, 2 to 3 days the year after that. We have a 4th daytime truck.
Yeah.
Eventually, right? As opposed to having, right, 6 part-time employees, it would be nice to have, right, 4 full-time employees or 5, I think it's 5 full-time employees to make that happen versus 12 part-timers. But out the gate here, this gets us there, headed that direction.
All right. I mean, if we expand by 5% again this year, it'll be 5,800 runs. I don't know, remember, I think I was on the commission where we went from 2 to 3 stations, maybe not, that was probably before I got here.
2018.
2018, that's before I got here.
If we continue at 5% every year, by 2030, we will be at 6,000 calls, which is only 4 short years away.
Yeah, so it'll happen soon enough.
We'll hit 6,000 calls. Yep.
Yeah. All right, any other comments or questions about this MOU?
So there are those 2 sentences beginning with full-time staff. If we're saying full-time staff aren't eligible, do we need to state that these ineligible people would not be mandated? Or is that second sentence just a way to provide assurance to the union that we mean what we say about the way this shift is staffed?
I think the 2 approaches were because I only have 2 people signed, 2 people committed to those 2 days, there's still 2 days a week that remain unfilled. So as opposed to allowing because right, physically they can actually go sign up for the shift, this is my general announcement to them. I'm not going to give you that shift, right? You can't work that shift. So that's agreed upon them, right? Because it's hours out there that are eligible. So this is telling them you can't fill that shift. And then the second part of it is, as happened this Tuesday, right? My normal Tuesday person on week 2 is recovering from influenza A, right? Said I can come in and work. I would prefer not to. I would prefer not to have you here, right? So ultimately on Tuesday we ended up taking the truck out of service as opposed to me mandating a full timer to work on that truck. So to me, those are the 2 approaches, and those are why the 2 sentences are separate, is making sure that staff know that they can't sign up for the shift, and I will not mandate them back to work to fill that shift.
Got it. I mean, I
Probably
think
says
to
the
make-
same thing, but
to cover your bases both directions, I didn't have an issue with it. I was just making sure I understood.
that's why.
The first part protects the staff, or protects the chief. The second part protects the staff, yeah. All right, did we just lose our quorum?
No.
Because we still got, we have enough, okay. So, any other comments? Otherwise, I'll call for a motion to approve the MOU.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, we'll give James a second to get back to his microphone. There we go. All right, all in favor of approving the MOU as shown, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved. All right, we're down to number 11, other businesses allowed by law. And this is, we need to have a new chairman for our commission, because Derek Johnson, who has been the chair the last 2 years, maybe more than that, has retired from duty, or is that, I don't know, why isn't he here?
He was not reappointed.
He was not
by the
reappointed,
mayor.
okay, by the city of Fitchburg, right? All right.
Verona.
Or Verona. Okay. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us present tonight out of 9, eventually.
7.
7. Oh, it went down to 7, that's right, okay. And the one person from Fitchburg couldn't come, the other one hasn't been appointed yet.
Correct. So
All right. So I'm acting right now as the interim chair. Our options are I continue to be interim chair until we have everybody on the commission, a full commission appointed, or we could nominate someone and elect them chair tonight from the 5 people that are here, essentially. Does anyone want to be chair?
But want.
This is your this is your chance to, say why you're so good at it or something. Patrick? Help?
Not it.
Not it, okay. I'm willing to do it since I filled in a couple times last year, but I will say I'm from the smallest municipality. That may give me some insight because then the 2 cities, are sort of, if they fight against each other for some reason, but I don't have as much of a dog in this fight. The town of Verona doesn't pay that much money to the commission, but I'm willing to do it.
No, I'm just curious, can we go back over what the responsibilities of the chair?
Yeah, maybe that'd be good. Sure.
I could probably pull up an intergovernmental agreement. Well, largely, it's this.
Run the meeting, yeah.
Largely, it's running meetings.
I believe signing big checks or something too.
Well,
right?
not even.
Not
We have 3 people who sign checks.
Yeah.
It's running the meetings. Technically, right, all the duties of posting agenda and all those things fall upon the chair, or I think we actually have a secretary too. I need to go back and find that position as well. But all of that gets delegated to full-time, right? That's based from 1977 when it was a volunteer agency and the commission did more of the operations. On paper, they're ultimately responsible for that. The biggest, I suppose the biggest thing of making you aware of before somebody gets in that chair and said, nobody ever told me, right, is ultimately, if there's a grievance that happens at the staff level, there's a process to that in place, right? They apply, it comes to, depending on who it is, it's investigated, and ultimately that comes to me to make that decision. The appeal process of a grievance, normal grievance, then comes to essentially specifically the chair, but ultimately the commission does that. But the chair is the one who's responsible for that. If that grievance is against me, then at first step is actually to go to the chair. Beyond that, it's
How many grievances have we had in the last 10 years? Any? Or?
none that have come up to the commission
None, okay.
level.
All right. I don't recall any. So
I try
So
to
it doesn't
handle
happen-
it at
doesn't
the
happen very
lowest
often,
level.
yeah,
It doesn't happen very often, but I just want to make
Just
sure
a
there's the possibility of that. And again, but you have, right, the district has a labor attorney that you will consult, and
Yeah.
there's 5 of you here, and we have 2 municipalities. So you're never out on the island. You're just the face. You're the direct point of contact for that. Beyond that, you're responsible for these 7 people.
All right. Well, Dr. Lonsdorf, you're great at it, of course, but I think that maybe we should just wait until we have the 2 new people just to make sure that nobody is gunning for it.
Yeah.
It seems like we're all a little apathetic about it, so let's give them an opportunity when the new people come on in.
So are you okay?
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine being interim for the next month or 2, whatever it takes, a couple months. So, all right, so we'll.
Call a special meeting.
Huh?
You're not going to call a special meeting? as chair?
Not currently. Okay, so we'll just defer the appointment of a new chair until a subsequent meeting, so. Any other new business? All right, motion to adjourn,
I'll motion to adjourn.
second?
I'll second.
Okay, good. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.